So, welcome to the final session for Unit 4. By yesterday itself, we have completed portion, but even though in the last unit we have introduced this type of experiential learning, so we could understand the concepts by developing a project. That's what even for your whole course we have given you the project work. So do it on the right pace. That will give you additional stuff. So pertaining to multi-threading, what could be a simple case study, how it can be solved, how we could able to accompany the concepts, whatever we have learned till now, right? So that could be the case study that I have searched over there, and I found out that this could be the best case study that you could able to use it. So I think you could able to see here two things, right? The first bullet consists of a simulation of two projects actually, right? An action sale, right? So it's like a bidding system. I think you know the process of bidding, that we have to quote for the minimum amount. So for doing a particular work, people will submit quotation. Who have quoted minimum work, minimum cost for them, the offer has been given to do the task, right? So that could be the way of auction. And a coffee shop, right? So coffee shop, starting from booking the table, still we are coming out, including the process what they are doing in the kitchen, that is also being simulated using these things. So what are all the methods that they plan to incorporate? Synchronization, the logs, that what you have learned, wait, notify, thread executor, nothing but thread pooling, right? So atomic and non-blocking data structures, what are all being involved over there. These are the first two case studies that we will discuss. Third one is using Akka framework, right? So what is the Akka framework that most probably will be thinking about? It is a API. Okay. So where can I get this API? Where can I get this API? For that, yes, this is the website will help you to download the framework, right? So this will supply APIs for Java and Scala. So they are very famous. Scala is the another place that you could able to more work with the concurrent applications. Java having the future of multi-threading by nature. Okay, the property of concurrency also being ready to build it over for Java using this API. So from this API, from this website, you have to download this API. Once you choose this, you could able to download that, get it, and put it inside your JDK folder. It's enough, right? So by that you could ready to adapt this for exploring the future of concurrency, right? Exploring the future of concurrency, the process of parallel processing that you could able to occur over on that. So this is the website that you could able to do over on that. Even I will copy this website, put it in the chat box, use it. Okay, so this is the place that you have download the APIs. Simply you could able to incorporate the APIs within your programs in a easier fashion. Okay, so that's the content that I want to show it over here. So ultimately, by using that concurrency, that what we are going to do, right? I am going to count the vowels from multiple text files, and I'm going to predict the number of vowels in the file during each iteration. So it is going to iterate each and every time. So it will convey that these many number of vowels may present in the file. Right? It is ready to predict. So the updating the prediction parameter depending upon the accuracy. Right? So that's also the major feature that we are going to discuss. These three case studies will give you the stuff, and also I'll tell you. I'll suggest you to execute these three programs. I will supply the code in the Google Classroom. Simple thing is you have to write the main method. That's all. Every functionalities will be available. Just you write the main method, call the corresponding, start the corresponding threads. It's enough. Okay. So your things will get execute and understand. Okay. I will explain the code. What are all the individual functionalities? Even after the session also, you could be able to understand the code also, because the code consists of the corresponding explanations being blocked in the command statements. So that also will help you to understand further. Okay. So by this weekend, you try to execute all these three case studies and understand the applications of the methods and classes what you have learned in the unit 4. So that could be the case here. Okay. So let me get into the coding directly. Right, this is your action simulation. They wrote independent classes. Okay, so whenever it is being need to be used, that you can use your own methodology, right? Either you can go for inheritance, or you can go for using creating packages you can import, right? It's as per your wish. So how you could be able to call and access, or simply you want to keep it as anonymous class and you want to call, you can call. That's as per your wish, that you could be able to move it forward. Okay, we'll start from there, right? So what are all the things? Even I have a query from the students. I think yesterday I explained you what is a class diagram, right? As well as you have one more modeling diagram is that is called a use case diagram. Okay, use case diagram you will learn in object oriented analysis and design. In that paper you will learn use case diagram. What does this use case diagram will talk about? What are all the functional requirements of the projects? Every requirement will be converted into a use case. Okay. Who are all the stakeholders involving in the use case? Very prominently pertaining to use case, what is the term we have to use here is actors. Who are all the actors will involve in that? Okay. So if you are going to list out the functional requirements of the project, the particular requirement, who are all the actors are involved. Once we filter it very easily, that we could be able to write the coding in a proper MVC architecture, model view controller. Okay, proper MVC architecture. So I think while you are going to learn your GUI, you will come to know about this MVC in a detailed fashion, right? I'm going to create a front end design. I'm having logic. I'm having database. So if I want to upgrade anything, no need to disturb all these three coding environment. If you want to upgrade, work with the design alone. If you want to upgrade the business logic, work with the code corresponding to the main logic alone. If you want to change anything with the database, work with the database alone. This is what MVC architecture. Okay, so in that case, so this could be the idea that will list out whenever you are going to work with any case study or project. You are advised to do like this. See, in this section they have listed it out, the actors involved here, and the logics are being separated very easily, right? Identified and separated very easily. That's the point I want to stretch it here. So action server is the place where the action is going to happen. Okay, bidder. Okay, so That could be the class where you're able to see the process of bidding will happen. Okay, so client, so these are all the people who are going to submit their bids item. So that could be the corresponding item where everyone is ready to bid. Seller, who is going to launch this action. Okay, simulation, the entire process will be controlled from this simulation class. So that is a thing. So we will see it incrementally on this. So we go to the item. See here, what does it stores? Stores the initial information for an item submitted for bidding. Okay. So what are all the items that they want to mention here? That means these are all the fields are necessary for me, right? Now it is visible for everyone clearly, or still I have to increase the font size? Yes. Any response? Okay, that's fine. So these are all the things that are going to be used as variables, could be crossed over on all the contents. Okay, so that could be the item. So here they are using these entries. Okay, since they have used a private, that they are going to use this to call it over on the subsequent variables. Okay, so seller name, listing ID, lowest bidding price, bidding duration, minutes. Okay, since it is online auction, they are going to restrict within the corresponding duration. That is the thing. Normally, the bidding duration could be in days. Okay, so when it is happening in the environment. So this is the simple constructor which is ready to initialize these values. These are all the getter and setter methods that they have given, right? These are all the complete getter and setter methods for the variable what we have produced to over on that. Okay. So for all the variables, I am having this setter methods. Okay. See here. This is the place where we are incorporating the subsequent method. This bidding open, right? So this method will return true. Otherwise, it will return false based upon this boolean. What is the actual logic is going to be working on over on that? If the time elapsed from the moment the bidding started for this item is less than the bidding duration, it will return true, right? So it will help me to identify that particular bid is open or not. So that is the major case that they are ready to talk about. Okay, so that's the idea here, and you could be able to see that they are ready to compare the corresponding items. What I have bid is available on the list or not. That is what, by using the listing ID, they are comparing it. They are comparing on this, and they are ready to return the corresponding ID, as well as they are converting the listing ID into string. Might be it will be used for processing, right? So what are all items that we have seen here? The items which are being projected over on that, which are all mandatory data elements to be available, right? So that could be the major case, right? So this is the item class. Fine, we have seen all the data elements, right? Now we will go to the client. We are only going for the process. Okay, so what does it client consist of? See that they have given the client as a interface. I think you are understanding here. I am using extends runnable. What does it represents? The interface extends runnable. That means whenever the corresponding thread is going to be called, the thread represents a client. Okay, the thread represents a client. That is the reason why the name method has been given over within the client. So they have given us the proper way of using interface that already we have taught you. right? So how to use the interface, the process of abstraction, the level of abstraction can be identified very easily. Here, along with abstraction, we are incorporating multi-threading feature also, right? So the process of identifying the thread has to happen over through the client name. That's the thing. Next, seller. We will go to the seller, right? You see that implements client. This is the flow that you have to, once you understood the process, you could able to come over on that. That is a main idea. Okay, so that could be the flow of the topic actually. So you could able to see that the process what I have conveyed you, seller is going to register his bid in the action server. Okay, that's the thing is happening here, action server. Okay, so the seller has its name. So what could be the maximum time that it could be able to go for that, and it could be able to restrict that complete time also. Okay, so that could be the idea. See, this is the place where our multi-threading is happening. See that this could be the place. What are all they want to try to do this. Okay, this is the complete place. So understand that the items are being available in the list. Whoever is going to call the whoever is going to submit that corresponding bid for the ID, that ID is get to be automatically identified, right? If that particular ID is not available, ultimately make sure that we can have restrictions here also, right? So for example, if your client has to participate only one time, you can write some more restriction here in this place. Or once if you have participated after two bids or three bids that you are going to participate, that you can restrict here. So your logic of accessing the corresponding portion can be mentioned here. This is what we will be lining with producing and consuming, right? Producing and consuming. Once it is has been posted in the place, everyone is ready to consume. Who will consume? Who will consume? Or the person who is having less quotation will ready to consume that. Okay, so that is the thing. So along with that, if 10 clients are there, in that case uh, the constraint is who is having less quotation. Okay, who is having less quotation is going to be consumed. Otherwise, if I'm going to run with the online the direct entry based upon the uh, profile of action, based upon the profile of action, who is giving more amount for them only, the corresponding property will be given, right? So reverse. So you can check it in the reverse for tender as well as for action. So both the things that you could be able to take this case study, right? So if you are going for a action, what will happen? Who is asking for more price for them? The offer will be given. 10 clients are there. Among the 10 clients, who is going to ask for more price for them? The corresponding offer will be given, right? So that has been illustrated through this. So they are ready to remove the person who have given the corresponding task, as well as the corresponding item also being removed from the entry. Okay, so that could be the very, you can incorporate or you can expand this logic further, right? They have given a very simple steps. Okay, you can incorporate something more on this, right? I'll suggest you. So they are making others to wait. Okay, it will be synchronized later. See that. So we learned about seller. Okay, now come for the bidder, right? Bidder. See that in the bidder the variables are. So initially the process of bidder who have come for bidder is being identified through their client name only, right? So the client is being registered as a bidder here. So that's what the term bidder. What are all the primary variables that you have given over there that could be taken forward very easily, right? So the corresponding bidder data is being provided over on there, as well as they are ready to provide a uh, random number also here for them. Okay, so what are all the amounts that they have given, the deposit what they have given, right? Everything is being listed over on that. So for whom the corresponding bid is going to be allocated, that will be available over on the auction server, right? So what is the logic that they have mentioned over here, that you could able to see that, see how they have used collections very effectively, right? So try to use collections. So because tailored collections will give you some more works to be reduced instead of working with the regular arrays. The tailored collections, even in Wipro, they will be preferring in milestone examinations, they will be preferring the students need to use collections. Okay, so the depending upon the size, whether it is available or not, whether the items are available or not, right? They are ready to check. If the items are not available, they will remove it from the items. They will check the price from the server only, right? So and also they are ready to validate these things also. The server should ensure the threat safety. If the price has already increased, this bit should be invalid. That means the quoted bit should be completely higher, right? So once it is being higher compared to other client bits, ultimately it has been allotted for the corresponding client. So rest of the people should not access it. So that could be the case that they are ready to consider. So if I have access to the corresponding item using my listing ID, ultimately the item will be blocked. That's all. So what could be the current bid price that will be available over on that? Still, if you want to bid further, that is what the case they are ready to give. Still, if you want to bid further, if you quote a higher price among them, that see, this is a complex logic here. There are three categories they want to focus here. First one is tender, second one is online action, third one is continuous online action. That means I have quoted a I have quoted a price. No one have quoted that amount, right? I have quoted some X rupees. Rest of them have quoted compared to me lesser amount only, X minus Y. So that much amount only that they have quoted. Someone will come and they will ask X plus yes, X plus Z. If they are going to ask that amount, the corresponding thing will be moved forward, right? So even likewise also you could able to change your convention, right? So that could be the case that here they are ready to calculate the final price by subtracting the amount that what you have submitted. Otherwise they are ready to go for the like a menu, like they will go for the bidding process. If your price is not up to the bid, ultimately it will come back to the normal state. Here you can write your own logic, right? Here you can write your own logic. So you can simple give a print of you are not eligible to come for bidding if you don't have proper balance. So likewise you could be able to do it. Otherwise you can go for give a failed exception. You could be able to generate here, right? So that's also being possible here. So how much time that the corresponding thread need to run? So that will vary, right? See, every client will access this process, right? So how you are going to give access to the individual bits? How many threads you are going to create? That's the major case. For example, you are going to create 10 thread means in the main class, create 10 clients such that they are ready to access these contents. Okay, so that's what about the bidder. And we'll come for we'll go for action server. Finally, we'll come for simulation, right? So this could be the server that it is ready to move forward with it, right? You could be able to see here. So they made the constructor to be protected. That means they are going to use inheritance. Okay. So this is the action server. It is going to return an object only. Please understand that it is going to return an object only. So what are all the items available? How many items are available? What is the revenue generated? So that is what it is ready to return. So the parameters that what we can restrict that can be given over here. See that maximum bit count. So how for a particular item, what is the maximum bit count can happen? How many number of sellers could be able to come forward, right, for the maximum number of seller items? So what could be the server capacity? Nothing but how many number of active threads that could be able to access, right? This is the place that you can able to tune furthermore on Power of Java in multi-threading. You could able to know about that. They have given only up to 80 threads. No, it's not like that. See, when analyzed result is going to be published, when you are going to access their server, how many threads will happen, right? Lakhs and lakhs of things will get to access, or at least minimum thousands, right? The server, thousands of students will ready to access on that. So server capacity can be actually determined by giving very big values, right? So that could be the major case. Okay, so list of items currently into the bidding has been mentioned over there. Will eventually the things which are not in the bid, that will be expired automatically. That is the idea. And see, through this they are ready to convey about that. So their listing ID they are generating automatically. They are generating, right. Make it as a 0. That is the thing. And you could able to see that list of item IDs and actual items. So this data structure will hold that. So hash map they are using that, and this is the data structure they will use for item IDs with the highest bid for each item. Okay, highest bid for each item. I am having 10 items. 10 items, 10 client values are there. Totally 100 values. For every item, 10 values will be there. Among the 10 values, which one is having the maximum value? That will be mapped with the corresponding bit ID. Okay, item ID. That's the thing. And this data structure will be helpful for the same thing. And I think it will see here. So list of sellers and how many items they have currently up for bidding. So this is the place where we are going to provide the data about the sellers, what are all items that they are having, as well as list of buyers. So how many items on which they are currently bidding. Okay, so that what are all the buyers that how many items they are ready to bid. You can give restriction. See, one buyer has to buy this many number of items. So in the place of client that you could be able to restrict it. Next, this place list of sellers and sellers latest 2 bits stored in an array, which will be the value, right? So using this, you can go for some more constraints, and the list of qualified sellers that cannot take part in the action, disqualified sellers, right? So disqualified means those who don't have the proper balance. So those things can be rectified. See, for balance, you could be able to introduce a very good furthermore section. Okay, and here that you could be able to check that since as a good practice we don't use the synchronized of this, because they'll be moving for the creating the logs. I think the last session Aarti ma'am have shared you how to create and work with the logs, right? The way they are not moving for synchronized of this means the current object will be blocked. For example, parallelly 10 threads are going to run. In that case, all 10 threads will get to be lined up in queue for blocking. That is the reason why they do not want to use a synchronized of this, right? So even though the rest of the 9 threads are ready to be in the running state, all the threads will be called for this synchronization. So that's the unnecessary thing. That's the reason why they're ready to deserialize and keep forward. Okay, so that could be the case, and other things, right? So what are all the constraints that we could be able to move over on them? This could be the place, right? So make sure there's a room in the action side. If the seller is a new one, add item to the list of sellers, right? If the seller is going to register that you are going to work with them. If the seller has too many items for bidding, don't let them add this one. So what does it mean? So you could be able to restrict the list. These are all the places where they want to reduce their constraint. Okay, so that could be the idea. So don't forget to increment the number of things the seller has currently this. If you want to do any changes here, you come and change the values here. That is what they want to represent, right? So if you want to track it forward, that change the values here and check the complete environment. So that's the case that you need to move on. See here, disqualification criteria they have given. What is the criteria they have given here? So instead of balance, so what they have given. So if the items submitted have opening prices are less than 75, so they have given that. So price value less than 75, right? So they are ready to block you if you are going to bid very low. That is the thing, right? That they have a basic price. For example, the basic price of the property is 100 rupees. If you are going to start your bid from 99 rupees, it's not possible. So in that case, it is good to maintain that the lowest bidding price should not move on this value. That's what they have given over on this. Okay, so you can set up further how many number of times a seller can be disqualified, right? So that's also you could be able to check it further. That's what they are iterating and check regarding the process of bidding, how they are adding with the consumed items, non-consumed items. They are ready to bifurcate here. That's what happening here. Which are all the items available for action now? That can be listed over here. Okay, which are all the items available for action? Okay, who are all attending the current bid? Who are all attending the current bid? That can be identified through this code. Okay. Who are all attending the bid? So that's the thing. So status of a corresponding bidder with the item, right? If he had if he that the respective person have gone for bidding or not. If he had gone for bidding means, so what is the item that he had accessed? This is like something that you could be able to move for statistics. Which particular item, when all sellers or all buyers have move for bidding, likewise, you could be able to check for that. So bidding status for the corresponding thing. So here you could be able to go for general checking, right? So item is there or not. If item is there, who is the bidder name? So what could be the status of bidding? So everything could be able to identify this. Item price you could be able to fix here. Okay. Item price you could be able to fix here, and item ID that is also being generated here, right? So they are ready to generate through the random keys. So item ID that we could be able to generate here. If that particular item ID is not there, ultimately that item is removed from the list, right? So auction server, you can customize your own logic. I have conveyed you 3 different case studies in the single one. Either you could able to move for tender, or you could able to move for normal action system, or you could able to move for continual online action system. So any one of the things that you could able to track it and move forward. Finally, yes, this could be the place that you could able to see your name. Okay, so I think for this work I have given you the name that you could able to see that number of sellers, number of bidders that you could able to see has to be restricted here. So the thread is being mapped by the corresponding people. So sellers and bidders are being mapped with the thread object. You could able to see that. I have started all the threads of sellers, right? Parallelly, I have started all the threads of buyers. Okay, sellers and buyers, both the threads have been started. So please remember that parallelly these many number of threads are working. How many number of threads? 50 and 20. These many number of threads. Just you change these values and see the nature of threading. If the here you will be able to see sellers are 50, bidders are only 20. Try to change. Try to give higher, give a competitive bidding. In that case, how this program will behave, that you could be able to see that. The process of learning join, thread join, right? Here they have given. That means the process is streamlining here. Okay, sellers. Likewise, I am streamlining the bidders also using the join method, thread join, right? And you could be able to see here they are ready to customize the thing, that you can customize the process here, entire process. See, money spent by the bidders and revenue generated by the action server should be the same. How much they are depositing, how much the actual value available, both must be equal, right? That is what the thing being checked parallelly, right? If he had collected this item by doing bidding means, the corresponding value will be deducted from the buyer and it should be added with the server value, right? Auction server, right? That, or buyer, right? Sorry, seller, that should be available. Here you can customize this, right? Since the auction server is helping the buyer to sell his item, so in that case, this much number of percentage has to given for the auction server. This much amount need to be deposited in the buyer account, sorry, seller account. So if I'm going to add the value available in seller account with the action server account, it has to give the value which is equal towards the actual buying value of the corresponding item, right? So that is also you could able to check over on that. So the corresponding values. So what could be the capacity that could not exceed when I'm going for bid, right? So that is also being provided over on that. So we can see, this is the place where you can customize more number of constraints. This is the place, these two places I could able to connect. This is the one class where you can customize the logic, what could be the actual logic that you want to implant, as well as here also simulation and action server. So what could be the process of action, you can decide either any three of this case, or any two of this case, or any one of this case. So these two classes will help you to uh, clear the process of action. So again, I'll be streamlining you all these things. I am having 10 items available in the store, or you could be able to keep like this: a seller coming to my store. In the store, he is lodging all his 10 items. He is asking me to sell this item for me. Likewise, he had submitted. So I am going to put a message: these items are available for sale in this time to in this time. The action is going to happen. Likewise, I will announce. After announcing, what will happen? Clients will come and register. These are all the people, right? Nothing but the bidders will come and register. Okay. So our buyers will come and register. Once they have registered, what they will do, they will see the list of items available. So I will give you for the first item, I will give the time duration. From this time to this time, you can bid. That means they will quote the values for the corresponding item 1. Who have asked the maximum value for that person, I will be giving that corresponding item 1. That's all. This is the process. In this phase, where they have introduced multi-threading is parallelly they are ready to launch the seller as well as the buyer, right? So how many number of threads are going to run, that will be decided over on that. So the particular item is being accessed by 10 threads. Item 1 is being accessed by 10 buyers parallelly. Every particular person will have their own time duration. That's what we have given join. They have their own time duration to give their bid, but within the time period, the seller will find out the which person has the highest value of bidding for that person. The amount, the item will be given over on that. Once the item is submitted towards that person, automatically what will happen? The person will provide the money for me. So the money will be trifurcated in two cases. The store will, the action server will take some amount. The remaining amount will be sent towards the seller, right? So this could be the process. Likewise, I am going to iterate for all the items, as well as here I am going to implant some constraints. These many number of sellers could be able to move forward. This many number of, already this person have taken a auction, so he is not eligible to go for action further. This item has been completed action, so remove that item from the item list. These are all the processes being involved over on the corresponding environment, right? This could be the simple work being given over on that. And coffee shop simulation, likewise, I have given you the complete section. Please go through that. I found this could be some more interesting and easier here. Occupying the table in coffee shop, right? The place where we can introduce my multi-threading. How many number of coffee making machines are available? How many number of orders have come? Right? How many number of orders have come? Everything can be performed through multi-threading. How to access the billing machine? Even when customers are going to come, how the billing machine is going to be shared. This is what ma'am have explained you. Deadlock. Only one billing machine is available, but 10 bills are going to come parallelly. Who will be given the first place to use that? When bill 1 is going to be printed in the machine, bill rest of the customers have to wait. Okay, and the rest of the customers must know that machine is under utilization and it is being used by bill 1. That must be known towards them. Otherwise, this process will go for starvation, right? So, likewise, I think when you go through along the code, you could be able to come out this, and this is the thing that I want to have. But during time shortage, even I will share this code. Nothing to worry. So, counting vowels is a very easy logic that everyone could be able to write. But the thing is how it can be going to apply it on the multiple text files. Here they have given list of 10 files are available. Every file has here a simple paragraph that you are going to access and use it. So before you are going to execute this program, kindly download that API and start working that. So parallelly it will work on all these 10 files and it will ready to predict what could be the number of vowels will be available in the particular file. Okay, so that could be the case. I will share the code along with the PPT what we have handled today. Kindly go through and execute this. Right? Thank you. If you have any doubts, you can post here.